This video I'll be talking about comparing and ordering decimals. Comparing decimals is just saying which one is bigger or which one is smaller, and then ordering them would be like putting them in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. One way to compare and order decimals would be to use a grid model or grid models. For instance, in this case, I'll be comparing 0.4 and 0.36. As you know, 0.4 is another way of saying 0.40, since these grids are 10 by 10 or 100. 0.4 or 40 hundredths would be like shading, it's a little behind here, but shading 40 out of 100 of these spaces, something like that. And then 0.36, that would be like shading 36 out of 100. So all these and 6 more. So let's do those 6 there. Getting a little lag here. Okay. And so if we compare these two, we can see that, well, this one has 40 squares shaded, and this one over here has 36 squares shaded. So 0.40 is bigger than 0.36, and the actual question was 0.4. So we say 0.4 is greater than 0.36 or 0.36. You could also say 0.36 or 0.36 is less than 0.4. So you can write it in either way here. Another way to compare decimals would be putting them on a number line. So on a number line, the relationship of all these numbers is everything to the left over here is smaller than everything to the right, or everything to its right. So if we put these on number line, 0.4 would be right here, and 0.36 would be right here. And so we would say 0.36 is less than 0.4, which is listed down here as 0.40, but it means the same thing. Now, if you don't want to make a number line or use a 10 by 10 grid or whatever grid you want to use, you can line up the decimal points and compare the place values or the digits in each of the place values. So here, I've written 0.4, and I've lined it up with 0.36, lining up with the decimals there. Keeping in mind that when you have an empty space, you need to put a 0 there. So first we're going to look at the leftmost digit. So they both have zeros, so they're the same so far. Then we're going to look at the second digit there, and one of them has a 3 and one of them has a 4. Since 4 is greater than 3, or 3 is less than 4, we can say that 0.36 is less than 0.4. Now, once you get to a digit that is different, you don't even have to look at the next digit after that. So 6 and 0, we don't care. So although 0 is less, we had already figured out, because tenths are bigger than hundredths. So if the tenths are less, then that's all we care about. So let's try it out on this one. We have 3.18 and 3.8. Pause it and see if you can do this on your own, and then resume and see if you get it right. So I've lined up the decimals. I'm going to put in a 0 because that's what we do when there's an empty spot. And so we're going to start here, 3 and 3. So they're both the same so far. Then on the next one, we have a 1 and an 8. 1 is smaller, so we say that 3.18 is smaller or is less than 3.80 or 3.8. This symbol, it means smaller, but the technical term is 3.18 is less than 3.8. Let's try it with more numbers. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 decimals. So again, I'm going to line them up by decimals. So 0.8 is the first one. Then we have 0.084. And then we have 0.48. And then we have 0.84. Lots of 4s and 8s. Very confusing. So the first thing we'll do is check the first row of numbers, or first column. They're all the same. So we'll check the next one. So we have a 0, a 4, and an 8. So the 0 is clearly the smallest, so we can say 0.084 is the smallest. And then the 4 is the next biggest, so now we can say 0.48 is the next biggest. So we're done with that one, and we're done with that one. But the top and bottom one have the same digit, so we can't decide yet which one's bigger. Oh yeah, I forgot to put a 0 here. We'll do that now. So now we have a 0 and a 4 in the next digit, and so we can see that the top one, 0.8, is smaller than 0.84. And that's it. One of the things we like to do when we have them in order from least to greatest is use an inequality symbol in between to show that it is in order from least to greatest. So I can say 0.084 is less than 0.48, which is less than 0.8, which is less than 0.84. And now we know for certain using those symbols that this is going from least to greatest. Because, some people might order something from greatest to least, and so these symbols help tell us what order we're in. Let's try another. Okay, this is a chart that shows the amount of salt per liter in these different bodies of water, and we want to order these from least salty to most salty. So once again, I'm going to line up these decimals. So we have 0.032, 0.28, 0.013, and 0.018. We have this empty spot here, so let's put a 0 there. And now we'll compare them. So this tells us nothing. They're all zeros. And when we get to the second one, we have 3 zeros. So we know that 0.280 is the biggest. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this way over here because that's going to be the biggest. Now, so we're done with that one. Now we have a 1, a 1, and a 3. So we know this one's going to be the next biggest. These two are still fighting for the smallest. So we have 0.032 is the next biggest. So we're done with that one. And now we compare the 3 and the 8. So the 8, the 0.018 is bigger. And so leaving the smallest one as 0.013. And that is it for the video. Don't forget to fill out the form below. Thank you.